Oh, hey there. My name is Gionne, and you can call me Nino. And for today, we'll be talking about my first and second quarter portfolio highlights. I just had my devotion, and since we're talking about my devotion, let's start with Bible. In the Bible, we talked about Christ's ministry and the miracles he did. So let's talk about his first miracle, in which I made an essay from. The first miracle of Christ Jesus. There was a wedding that took place in Cana of Galilee. Mary, Jesus, and his disciples were invited in the wedding. Mary told Jesus that they ran out of wine, and so Jesus commanded the servants that the jars that had been used for the wine to be filled up with water. And so the servants did so as they were instructed. They filled the jars with water. Jesus then instructed the servants to draw some water from the stone jars and to serve it to the chief servant. And so the servants did as they were told and drew up some water from the jars and served it to the chief servant. And when the chief servant drank from the cup, he had tasted wine, not water. Somehow Jesus had transformed the water from the jars into fine wine. This miracle was performed by Christ Jesus in Cana of Galilee. He had displayed his amazing glory, and Jesus' disciples had believed in him. Speaking of history, let's go to my history highlight, which was Henry VIII, which he had married 6 wives. Here's his story. Number 1, Catherine of Aragon. Before Catherine became Henry's wife, she was the wife of his brother, Arthur. She gave birth to Mary, or as we all know, Bloody Mary, but they had no sons. Henry thought he was punished by God because he married his brother's wife. So Henry wanted to file an annulment, which was basically divorce. Soon the annulment was filed by Thomas Cranmer. Number 2, Anne Boleyn. She was a French young Christian woman that Henry deeply fell in love with. They were married and had a child named Elizabeth. But not too soon, Henry fell out of love and, well, he wanted to get rid of her. So he falsely accused her of adultery and he beheaded her. Number 3, Jane Seymour. She was a maid at the king's court. Henry married her and had a child named Edward, though sadly she died because of birth complications. Number 4, Anne of Cleves. Thomas Cromwell tricked Henry into marrying her for political reasons. Because of this, Cromwell was beheaded by Henry. Number 5, Catherine Howard. She was a Roman Catholic and she cheated on Henry, causing her to, well, you guessed it, to be beheaded. Number 6, Catherine Parr. She was a Protestant and the last wife of Henry, because after 4 years of their marriage, Henry had died of a disease and was buried next to Jane Seymour's grave. Man, all of that storytelling got me hungry. Gonna head out and grab a snack. See ya! They're mine! No, they're mine. Hey, what's going on? He said that the 1,224 chewing gum pack are all his. So, I want them all. Maybe I can help. I just learned about dividing 4-digit numbers. So let's do this. Okay, so there are 2 people and 1,224 chewing gums. So that would be 1,224 divided by 2. But how are we gonna do that? It's not like we can count all the way up to 1224 just to divide it. That's why we must first take the first 2 digits and then divide them by 2. So now it's 12 divided by 2. Then we divide, but instead of putting the answer over there, we put it over here because we need to solve the other 2 digits. Then we do the same thing on the other digits, which is 24 divided by 2. Then we put the answer over there, and ta-da! There's our answer, 612. So there you guys go. Each of you get 612 pieces of chewing gum. Thanks. Now that that's over, I can finally get my snack. So I just finished eating, and the human body is an amazing and complex machine, turning consumables into energy and nutrients for our body to work. Let's go through how our body gets the nutrients it needs through the digestive system. Number 1, the mouth and the esophagus. First, we take a bite of the food and our teeth grinds up the food to be more easier to swallow. Then it goes through the esophagus, which moves to the stomach. Number 2, the stomach. It then goes to the stomach where it mixes with the gastric juices where they break down the food mechanically and chemically. Then it moves to the small intestine. Number 3, the small intestine. Once inside the small intestine, it then gets mixed with the enzymes produced by the pancreas, one of the biggest glands of the human body, where it regulates the amount of sugar in blood and makes, enzymes. Then the small intestine absorbs the nutrients from the food and moves the nutrients into the bloodstream. Then the food goes to the liver. Number 4, the liver. The liver then breaks down fats and processes the proteins of the food. Then it filters all the impurities and toxins of the food, then moves onto the large intestine. Number 5, the large intestine. Once all of the nutrients is taken from the food, the large intestine takes the waste and removes the water from it. And, all the rest of the waste gets pushed outside of the body through the anus as feces. So now we know how the body gets its needed nutrients and proteins from consumables. God has truly made an amazing and very complex machine. Ito na ang huling aralin. Ito ay tungkol sa katipunan at sa simula nito. Halika na! Bumuo ng mga Pilipino ng isang lihim na samahan ng mga organisasyon na tawag Katipunan o KKK, kung saan ginamit nila ng puwersa upang makamit ng reformasyon. Hindi lang sila isang organisasyon, isa rin silang anyo ng gobyerno na may mga opisyal at konseho. Ang mga taong ito ay nagsumika para sa kalayaan ng ating bansa, kaya dapat nating pasalamatan sila sa pagbibigay sa atin ng ganitong pamumuhay at kalayaan na mayroon tayo ngayon. So there you have it, my first and second quarter portfolio highlights. I hope you've enjoyed it and had a lot of fun as I did making this project. So see you next time. So see you next time.